Shabbat Shalom, everybody. You know what I'm going to make you do. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Oh, it's so good to have everyone here. Friends who are regulars, friends who are new, friends who are visiting. Welcome to everybody. It is an exciting weekend here at Temple Emanu-El with lots and lots to celebrate. So I hope you will join us after the service for some delicious oneg and snacks out in our lobby. If we have anybody in here who needs a little break from the sanctuary, we do have our Shalom Sanctuary, which is right back there, and you can hear and see everything from through that glass. So it's not quite soundproof, but it's pretty soundproof. Friends, under your seats, you'll find the navy blue prayer book for Mishkan Tefillah. This is the prayer book we'll be using tonight. If you want to reach on under and take that out now, I encourage you to do so. And as you're reaching for that prayer book, take a peek to your right, your left, look forward, behind you. We have exits over here. We have an exit over there. An exit is behind you, and there are exits behind us as well. Friends, if everybody would take a second. Oh, by the way, if you picked up the one that says the Torah, put that one back. You want the one that says Mishkan Tefillah. They happen to be the same color. Take a second, though. Reach into your pocket. Reach into your purse, please. Turn off your phone. Silence any alarms, Apple Watches with the beeps. We'll get all those on quiet so that we can just have this time to be together. And, of course, a big mazel tov to the McCoon family and to the Frank family for Lauren and for Noah and Wendy on their respective bar, and bat mitzvah. I am Rabbi Rachel, here with cantorial soloist Jessica Tillum. Take a second, turn to somebody that you did not fly here with, drive here with, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll come back together with another nigun. I know a lot of you have had busy weeks, perhaps with travel, perhaps with work, or just the run-of-the-mill life. So to leave some of that behind in the week that was and to enter Shabbat, let's take a second to center ourselves. So if you'd like, find your feet on the floor or perhaps your back against the chair. If you want to flutter your eyes closed, I invite you to do so. We'll take some of those centering breaths together. So deep breath in. And let it out. This next breath, holding all of our worries from this past week. Deep breath in. We let them out. This final breath, we prepare to enter Shabbat. Deep breath in. And we let it out. And flutter your eyes open, and I invite you to turn to page 120. And if Arlene Truffleman and, is it Roz or Rose? Roz? Probably Roz. And Roz Dermer, if you guys will come on up from the McCoon family. And Wendy, are you coming up with Judy? All right, if you guys will come on up. If the congregation will please rise as we prepare for our Shabbat candle lighting. So you'll And together we welcome in that light and warmth and love of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We turn to page 142. If you would like to light your own Shabbat candles, I invite you to do so to my right and to my left. If you're going to stay in the seats, I invite you to be seated. Page 142, we welcome the Sabbath angels. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We have welcomed in together the light of Shabbat. We've welcomed each other. We've welcomed the angels. Now we welcome that Sabbath bride, that most beautiful thing walking toward us as we welcome Shabbat. L'chadodi, page 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, shamar v'zachor, b'dibor echad, Emanu-El ha'miuchad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, Shemo tiferet v'litehila, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, likrat Shabbat, l'chu v'nilcha, ki mikor ha'beracha, me'rosh mikem nesucha, ma'aseh b'machshavah, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orek umiori, uri, uri, shir taberi, kavod Adonai alayik nigla, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai.
We rise and face the door.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tola, toch emunei, am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
We face forward.
Lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi, likrat kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabelai.
Page 146, our call to worship, Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Friends, we've now reached that time of year where the darkness has actually rolled in by the time we have services, and the prayer makes a little more sense. This prayer, Ma'ariv Aravim, the version we do, roll into dark, that God is a constant creator, bringing in the light of day, and then again, the night. And so we thank God for the evening, for that co-creating that we get to do along God's side. Roll into dark, found on the inside back cover of your prayer book.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshen, golel or mipnei choshen, v'choshen mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
We feel our feet on the floor. We stand proud. We stand tall. We declare God's oneness. Words of Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated unless you are Noah Frank and Lauren McCune. Then come on up to help lead us in Ve'ahavta. And one of the here, come on my right side. One of the really great pieces about, one of the great things about chanting Ve'ahavta tonight is, Mr. Grumpus, is, here's the important thing though, Noah. It is your last time doing this as a child of the congregation. That tomorrow, well, really tomorrow's the last time because you won't have read the Torah yet, but this is the last night, or like really night, where you're going to be chanting this prayer for us. And it's a prayer that talks about teaching children. And so you guys have been the children of the congregation that we've been teaching. And after tonight, you become the adults who teach the children. So it's this really special moment of transition for you. And so I will help you as we lead the congregation in Ve'ahavta. 1, 2, 3. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom alevavecha Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liyot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. You guys may be seated. If everybody else would be so kind as to join me on page 157. That's page 157 at the top. Let's pray together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha, page 158.
Yala lai 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 lai. Yala lai 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 lai. Yala lai 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 lai. Yala lai 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 lai. Micha mocha ba'lim Adonai. Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh. Norat tehilot o sefelet. O sefelet. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha. Bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha. Bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeini hanu v'yamru. Adonai imloch. Le'olam le'olam va'ed. Yala lai 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 lai. Yala lai 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 lai. Yala lai 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 lai. Yala lai 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 lai. V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov. Uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai. Ga'al Yisrael. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai.
Page 160. We have this prayer Hashkivenu, a prayer that asks for us to be able to lie down in peace and to rise up renewed. And one of the ways that we find help in seeking out peace is to search for that comfort blanket, if you will. And sometimes it's a literal blanket for some of us. For others, it's a spiritual one. It's this idea that there's something bigger than us that's out there, something that can provide comfort to us being just this small piece of the universe. And so in this prayer of Hashkivenu, we call out to God, asking to be that higher presence, to be that something for us to reach out to, so that God can provide for us a shelter of peace. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim.
On page 162, we have our prayer for Shabbat. So we move from asking for this sheltering presence to really just a reminder. It's, hello, are you paying attention? A lot of you looked up, see? Are you paying attention? Shabbat is here, it's for us. But it's only there for us if we really take it. And so even if it's just this 1 hour, this Friday night, this 1 hour on your Friday that you have set aside for just you, let that be enough for you this week. Let that be enough. And it's a joyful time. This is a nice group we have here tonight. Lots of folks in town for really, really happy occasions, celebrating some kids who have worked really, really hard. So let's bring them up with that supportive energy, with a rowdy, but not too rowdy, Little Vishamru, page 162.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם.
So when we restart the Torah cycle, it's not uncommon to hear a rabbi remind their community, yes, we study the same words year after year, because though the words may not change, though the words may not change, we do. Now, these words have never felt truer for me than over the past 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, I had some very rare free time open in my workday. And so I sat down to get ahead and study the Torah portion that was coming up actually for this week, knowing I'd need to write a sermon on this particular portion. And then, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, now known as Ye, really hit the headlines. In case you've been living under a rock for the last 2 weeks, let me summarize what's been going on. So October 6th, he sat down with Tucker Carlson on Fox News, and he made several anti-Semitic comments on the themes of Jews control financial systems. The black race is actually the true Jewish people. On October 7th, Ye posts to social media a screenshot of a conversation he has with the celebrity Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, that he, Diddy, is being controlled by the Jews. October 8th, Ye is now blocked from Instagram. He goes to Twitter and posts that he is going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jewish people and that he can't be anti-Semitic because he is a Jew. There were a whole host of issues with this particular tweet, as DEFCON 3 was likely a sloppy reference to DEFCON defense readiness condition, but I've digressed. On October 16th, Ye doubles down, saying that Jewish people have owned the black voice. And as shared by the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, Ye repeatedly blamed Jewish media and Jewish Zionists for numerous alleged misdeeds, stating that Jewish people have owned the black voice and that the Jewish community, especially in the music industry, they'll take us and milk us till we die. On October 17th, like I said, you'd really have to be under that rock. On October 17th, in an interview with Chris Cuomo on News Nation, Ye goes on to criticize the Jewish underground media mafia and alleges that every celebrity has Jewish people in their contract. That's just the summary. There was more. And then came the fallout. First, fashion giant, is it Balenciaga? So they dropped Kanye. A few days later in Los Angeles, a white supremacist group stands on a bridge over the 405 holding signs that say Kanye is right about the Jews. Then Ye's talent agency, CAA, drops him. But there was one big holdout. Adidas, radio silence from Adidas. Adidas made no statements since putting their relationship with Ye under review on October 7th. Now, by October 16th, still contracted with Adidas, Ye claims, I can say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Finally, 3.5 weeks after Ye's first horrible statements, and 10 days after he says they can't drop him, Adidas finally terminates their contract and cancels the release of his newest shoe the day after it was released. As a result, Adidas will likely suffer an estimated $250 million loss in their fourth quarter. Now, I'm not sure if $250 million is what was delaying their decision to drop him. I'm just glad that $250 million wasn't worth more than safety for the Jewish people. After the hostage situation at the Reform Synagogue in Texas back in January of this year, yeah, that was January 2022, I spoke to this community about how 0 non-Jewish people from my generation had said a word to me or in my social media feeds. But here's what gives me hope. This week, for the first time, I finally saw my non-Jewish friends, acquaintances, posting support for the Jewish community. And some of the folks that I saw posting were the same ones who reached out to me after I called out that radio silence from the non-Jewish community back in January after that hostage situation. To me, that's progress. Some of those people, they heard it, and they stepped up. Now, having said all of this, I want to teach you what I learned from Rabbi Karen Kadar, a Reform rabbi out of Chicago. And in her writing, Rabbi Kadar highlights an important teaching about a very specific detail from this week's Torah portion, Noach. It's a detail about Noah's ark. And yes, that means we have a Noah becoming bar mitzvah on Parshat Noach, which is pretty cool. So within the instructions that Noah receives is the direction, Tzohar ta'aseh la teva. Make a tzohar, a window for light in the ark. Others read it as, make it tzohar, make just a light for the ark. The word tzohar, it implies either a window, a light, or even this fancy gemstone that refracts light. Now, Rabbi Kadar notes a teaching from one of our rabbinic commentators that the word tzohoraim, meaning noon, and the word in Noah's instruction, sohar, share the same root. And thus, Rabbi Kedar reasons, the window was supposed to be one in which the noon light would come into the ark. Now, with the understanding of the window bringing in a noon light, I believe that the window is therefore a metaphor for hope. Similar to the metaphor of looking for the light at the end or seeing the light at the end of a tunnel. The window, it represents hope, hope for light from the noon sun after the flood. The vision is that the storm would clear, the day would dawn, and one day the sun would brightly shine. Now, as we are all well aware, the average window is set up so that people can not only see out, but so that others can see in. Further, lots of windows, not all of them, but lots, are made to be opened. You may have even grown up in a neighborhood where parents would open their windows and holler out at the children playing outside that it was time to come inside for dinner. Now, later in the story, Noah uses this window, this sohar, that was originally meant to bring in light, but this time he uses it to release a dove that is supposed to journey out to find dry land. And so he sends the dove out the window, hopeful that the dove will return with a sign that the flood has receded. So I need everyone to imagine for a moment a huge, sturdy ship, an ark, Noah's ark, made of wood, filled with animals in Noah's family, and one single window. Now zoom out further in your imagination, and now see that ark sitting on top of the flood waters as the only visible object surrounded by the flood. For me, this piece of Torah reads as a metaphor. And so I ask myself, and therefore ask you now, to ask yourself, when am I a ship lost at sea? Why has God given me a sturdy ark, one that is meant to protect me? God could have made the ark without windows, totally protected and sealed from the outside world. So why did God give me a window? Now, when I read this lesson 2 weeks ago, I was the ark. I was that tough exterior built to be resilient through the storms of life. And the window was a reminder to me that when we get lonely in our struggles, there is always the chance to look out and to look for others who are willing to look in. In one word, I call that hope. This week, I sat down to study the text again. And by this point, he was really all over those headlines. His anti-Semitic rhetoric was everywhere, and so too were the reactions that followed. So much so that when I sat down this week, the metaphor spoke to me in a whole new way. Nothing about the text had changed, just our world. See, the ark was no longer a representation of the individual, but now the ark represented the entire Jewish community. We, the Jewish people, were floating in the floodwaters. Our ark, our ship, it's strong. Together, we support one another and keep each other afloat. But we are all still looking for the dove, for that hopeful sign that the outside world will be there for us. And thus, the window should now speak to us as a reminder to look for help from our outside community. Sometimes the rainwaters will pour down and we will need to close the window to protect our community. Like the window was sealed during the rainstorm that brought the flood. But we can't seal ourselves off from the outside world forever. We must open the window to let in the light, to let in the dove. And today, that means building relationships with people outside of our community so that they can be the light for us when the rain seems to fall. so that they can help us to fight anti-Semitism when it arises. This week especially, I needed the reminder to open the window. Maybe you did too. This week was, like I said, the first time I had seen non-Jews posting on social media about Jewish causes. And I'm hopeful in a way I hadn't been in the wake of previous attacks. 4 years ago yesterday, I remember feeling like no one outside of the Jewish community was talking about the massacre. It was more than a feeling. I literally wasn't seeing anyone in my circles talking about it on social media, reaching out to share their concern. After that day 4 years ago, the attack on the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, I remember going to the store, I guess the next day, going to the store, and the people at the checkout counters being their bubbly selves, asking how I was doing, how was my day? And in some ways, I wish I would have responded with how I truly felt. How am I doing? Awful. 11 Jews were murdered at a synagogue in America. Do you even know this? Are you even listening? Terrible. 4 years later, and I'm hopeful that reactions to anti-Semitism seem to be shifting. Finally, people outside of the Jewish community are really talking about anti-Semitism and publicly taking stances that show their support for the Jewish community. We needed the Noah story this year. Torah often seems to be perfectly timed. So rather than feeling the flood of anti-Semitism, I read the Noah story this year feeling a flood of support. This kind of flood only happens when we let the good light shine through. When we open that window that God told Noah to put on the ark, we are reminded that the goodness of the light of the world can shine into our community. So I hope that you will join me this week in finding moments to thank privately and publicly those who showed support for the Jewish community in the wake of the most recent headlining anti-Semitism. I pray that this kind of external support shines for us again when we need it, because we will need it. In the meantime, when you hear about opportunities to strengthen your relationship with other faith communities, I hope you will join with us. These gatherings of fellowship and friendship, they make a difference. The Jewish community cannot be an ark without a window. May we all find meaningful ways to let the good light shine in, and may we strengthen one another. Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues on page 164 as we rise for our Amidah.
Adonai, sefantai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Le'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayei memunato, Lishenei Yeshua, v'ne'emanata lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahaducha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue in silent prayer with the words of our liturgy or the prayers of our heart. And when you have completed your prayers, I invite you to be seated. It is now my pleasure to potentially invite forward a member of our Board of Trustees for announcements, or Elliot Siegel. He volunteered for tribute before. Do you know what you're announcing? All right, just welcome everybody and then I'll do it.
I didn't get the list.
I know. Just say who you are.
So, my name is Elliot Siegel. Just to put a name with an association, I chair our financial council at the synagogue. So I want to welcome everybody and really thank everybody for their support. You know, I was thinking in light of Rabbi Rachel, what she was talking about, I thought I might come up here today. And then I didn't think I was going to be up here, but now I am. So, you know, I was at a meeting yesterday, a Creative Connected Communities meeting at my best friend's house, and you know they talked about empowering the young Jewish population to be leaders here, and it kind of translates into what we need from our Jewish community right now with everything that's going on. You know, I don't remember the last 20 years when an event like what just happened has really hit home on a mega scale, and really, it really does it to folks of a totally different background, and this is scary because he's got a big following and he's a mega star in people's mind and people listen to that stuff. So. It's really important for us to, however, whenever, and wherever you can give back to the Jewish community. It's really critical, and thank you and congratulations and Mazel Tov to our pending, bar and bat mitzvah this weekend. So thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you. And as always, be on the lookout for our weekly programming emails, our Shabbat emails telling you all the awesome things that are coming up. We've got brotherhood events, we've got tribe events, we've got youth events. So keep an eye out. Hanukkah's coming. I know, Hanukkah's coming. Can't wait to see you there. All right, friends. So now one of my favorite parts of services, a chance to share the good going on in our lives. And so, Jacqueline, you want to help be a runner? Jocelyn, rather, excuse me. Perfect. You take what side of the room you want? You take that side. All right. So you're sharing your name and something good going on in your life, something you want to celebrate. I got it. All right, right here.
My name's Nick, and my wife and my son Noah are having their bar and bat mitzvah. So thanks for everyone.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. Elliot, go ahead. Oh.
Marilyn Tuckman and my granddaughter, who is a junior at Georgia Tech, participated in her first moot court, and the team, for the first time in 8 years, won first place, and she got the award for the best witness.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations. Congratulations.
My name is Brett, and what's going on that's great is we have a bat mitzvah in our family, and we have all of our friends and family in town, and that's fantastic. And Kara got 100 on her math test.
All right, Kara. Uh-huh. Boop, boop.
My name is Rich Lappin, and last weekend I had a very ordinary but very gratifying event. Our grandsons came over to visit us like they normally do, 6 and 10. And this was the first time all three of us could ride our bicycles together. It was fun.
I love that. I don't see any. Jess, you got one this week?
Yes, my son's about to be 6 months old, and we've just started food, and it's so exciting.
Ah. You have one? Okay, say it in the mic.
My name is Jocelyn, and I think 2 weeks ago I got into Blue Keepa level.
Ooh, nice. Round of applause for that. That is our Sunday school Hebrew program, and they move up in different levels. It's like Montessori meets karate. Love it. Love it. So for all of these things, we join together thanking God for reaching this moment in time. Shechianu, page 648.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
It's wonderful for us to lift each other up in the good and to hold each other up when times are tough, when we're surrounded by those who may be in need of healing, be it healing of relationship, of mind, of body, or of spirit. And so our community is especially thinking of Marvin Davis, Jerry Penn, George Fox, Scott Walsey, Deborah Gilbert, David Ben Label, Cindy Hirsch, Brett Samsky, Meir Ben Rachmiel Vedina, Alvin Levy, Kashka Muskogee, George Richfeld, Francis Levine, Ashish Sharma, Ken Schiffer, Kathy Cook, Karnina Michalabat Yitzchak Vitova, Jennifer Herman, Neil Schwartz, Shelley Renee Johnson, Sam Goldberg, Jackie Goldberg, Rosa Zaretsky, Jeffrey Crispo, Michael Merdinger. If there is somebody that you are praying for the healing of, I'll add Asher Chosmer as well. If there's somebody for whom you are praying for the healing of, I invite you to share that name aloud as my eyes meet yours. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nancy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We turn to page 371. We rise. If your neighbor's okay with it, we wrap an arm around each other. Misha Berach.
Misha Be'erach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We remain standing for Kiddush. Noah, if you want to come up. Yeah, Lauren, if you want to come up. You guys have to kind of fight over that one. You can always switch halfway through. Okay, so one of you get the big one, and one of you get a little one. Perfect. And then come all the way up. Come all the way up, all the way up. And then if you are under the age of bar or bat mitzvah, please come get yourself a little juice cup and come on up to the bima. I know there's at least a couple of you in there. I see you guys. Perfect, perfect. All right, as more of them continue to come up, and once you grab your juice, you can feel free to come all the way up on the bima. We're on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinkilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah l'mikrei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim. V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu.
Hold them up.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Shabbat shalom. Have a drink. All right, now don't go too far, although Noah, I need you to go towards the ark first because this is your last time opening the ark pre-bar mitzvah, and I know this is like your favorite thing. Lauren, you too. Head that direction. All of us, we're going to go on over there, page 586, Aleinu l'shabeach. Go ahead and open.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
Perfect. And everybody may be seated. Just drop that off on your way. So we've reached the point in our service where we call to mind the memories of loved ones who have died in recent days and those in seasons past. And we offer condolences to Barry Fruchter on the recent death of his wife, Charisse Fruchter. In a period of Shloshim, we recognize Vani Wenner. And we remember on this Shabbat the yard site for those lost in the Tree of Life massacre: Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecile and David Rosenthal, Bernice and Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Young. And those commemorating yard sites for Stuart, for Stu, Aaron, Susan Abrams, Bertha Baer, Eunice Julia Bialis, Saul Brown, Louisa Cohen, Edward B. Fink, Jenny Friedman, Mo Jaslow, Arno Kahn, Harold Carpel, Jerry Klein, Dora Kramer, Rose Liederman, Sylvia Littman, Jerome Stanley Litt, Benjamin Miller, Betty Molkner, Myron Buddy Nash, Amy Richmond Perlman, Geraldine Baver Sack, Kenny Seidel, Paul Siegel, Ronnie Silver, Irene Stein, Marilyn Steinow, Barbara Stone, Kenneth Teller, Hannah Turner, Paul Weinberg, and Evelyn Winograd. There is a name I mispronounced or I inadvertently missed. I invite you to share that name aloud. If you are in the first 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to please rise so we may recognize you. If you are in the first year, Yod Bet, mourning the loss of a loved one, we invite you to rise and remain standing so we may recognize you. If on this Shabbat you are commemorating a yard site, a death anniversary of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. If it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, as it is here at Temple Emanu-El, for those in the massacre 4 years ago, and for the 6 million for whom there may not be anyone left to say Kaddish, I invite you to please rise at this time. Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach lirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudesha barichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, alinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen.
do a little wala, chala, and Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone.